Live? Are we going
Are
live?
we?
Is
Telling
it
me.
showtime?
It's showtime. Get this show in the flow, I reckon.
It is showtime. And you know what? We're doing something extra special today. We're going live on Instagram as well.
You're extra special, Dave.
There's no question about that.
Oh, that's so funny.
Very special kind of special. All right.
Before we
As
get
I,
started, can I tell a little bit of a story? I love that today we're talking about what we're talking about, and I'm going to let you go and do this whole thing real soon. But relevancy is a real piece, and relevancy and keeping it real is all about what I am this morning. I don't know about you, but the things that I get to do to keep it real include running, exercising. But it keeps storming and raining out here, so I'm in my gear, ready to go, just keeping it real, and it's still raining. So here we are, keeping it real, keeping it relevant in
yeah.
the circle leadership wherever we are in the world, because sometimes that's what happens. Sometimes it rains, sometimes you can do the thing, sometimes you can't. And what do we do when the wheels are falling off and we're ready for an upgrade, Dave? I'm so keen to hear what gets to come today. How are you?
I'm on fire. I'm pumped. We're just live on Instagram, so a whole bunch of people are just joining in. Thank you to those of us who joined us on Instagram, those of us who are joining us on all platforms all around the world. I'm on fire. I'm pumped. I think as much as I am a purpose guy, this whole thing about imagining a business that does not yet exist, this concept, which actually should become a mindset rather than just a concept, is something I'm really passionate about, because you can, like, when you have your purpose, it's great. Purpose should create opportunities. It should find you a way to express that in the world. It shouldn't limit you in the way that you think about things. But it's almost like many businesses, they set and forget. Right? So they set their purpose and forget it. But we live in a crazy ass world today. We are actually I've shared before, what I believe is our generation's most uncertain of times. Every generation's had their own uncertainty, but this is what we believe to be our most uncertain of times. But this should be the most exciting of times, right? This is what I'm thinking. Like, now should be the most exciting of times. Now, I say with great empathy. I know there's a lot of people out there suffering and going through some stuff. Like, I get that. I know there's some people in businesses are being challenged and everything like that. But you can either have it happen to you or have it happen for you. So, this difference between a victim mindset and a victor mindset. Business, I appreciate it can be hard, it can be challenging at times, but it's not meant to be hard and challenging all the time. Look at our business. We talk about, we live and we laugh and, love the stuff we do longer and harder than working longer and harder, even though we're working long and hard at times, but we're doing it in a way where we're just loving the work that we're doing in the world. So you should be able to enjoy. If you're in business, you should be able to enjoy being in business. But it doesn't mean it won't be without its challenges. So when we talk about reimagining a business that does not yet exist, like, this to me is so important. It's always been important, but I think the past 2 or so years of what's been happening in the world has highlighted it or brought it to the forefront of people's minds now. Because if everyone looks at their businesses pre-pandemic, whatever it was like, to what it's like now, a lot of people have been either forced or thrust into evolving their business, increasing their capabilities or their capacity for greatness, or they've been planning to do it anyway, so they just accelerated what was in the plans, or they've struggled and possibly gone out of business or are on the brink of going out of business, because they've been forced and thrust into this space. So for me, it's really important to understand that this should be the most exciting of times, because in the past there was predictability. Now, there's very limited opportunity in predictability, but there's tremendous opportunity in uncertainty, because nobody has a freaking clue on how it should be done anymore. So many people, well, that's not the way it's done in our business. That's not the way it's done in our industry. Well, you know what? I would suggest that you can just let go of that kind of a thinking, and this is where, me, Lisa, one of my other many clarisms, one that's very fundamental and simple. One of the very first ones actually is, isness is the death of your business. Dave, you don't understand how it is in our business. Dave, you don't understand how it is in our industry. You don't understand. Well, that's the problem. I don't understand. I don't understand why it is that way. So what I want to cover in today's live stream, there's so much I would love to cover. I always want to probably put out more than what I'm have time allocated for, and much with yourself as well, Lisa. You're very similar in that space. We have so much we just want to share and give to the world. So I want to get a little bit punchy with this one. Firstly, please understand that the world has shifted and changed and evolved, and the rate of change is accelerating, and all these things we all know, we've all heard. It's happening. Whether you like it or not, it's happening. Okay? And I did a post up yesterday that, you have a choice. You can bury your head in the sand, you can double down on what you're doing, or you can increase your capabilities and your capacity for greatness. Like, those are pretty much your choices. So we've shared this a little bit before, but more so forgetting that about the COVID component of this. This is the way the world is now. There was a normal, then there was a disruption, then there'll be another normal, and then there'll be another disruption, then there'll be another normal. So it's no good now thinking about our organization. How do we just get through this and get through whatever it is and then deal with whatever's going to come next? Be prepared for the fact that something else is going to come along and you have to reshuffle again and prepare for what's next. And then something else is going to come along. And so when you're thinking about your organization going forward now, you can't plan out in 10-year cycles of strategy and all this sort of stuff because things are happening too fast. Disruptions are coming quicker than ever, be it environmental ones or business-related ones or industry ones.
And to that as well, Dave, sometimes disruptions can actually be really amazing. They can be awesomely positive, epic things, but they're still a disruption nonetheless.
Absolutely, they are. They and if you look at, like I said, none of this says that it has to be a bad thing. Once again, depending on how you choose. I mean, there's so many businesses that have been born out of this, right? So as I've alluded to, we're in our generation's most uncertain of times. Predictability is out the window, right? But this should be the most exciting of times because there's no opportunity in predictability, but there's tremendous opportunity in uncertainty. And I would encourage everyone to start to embrace the uncertainty. And so, as you talked about, I reckon in these times, bad businesses just won't exist anymore. Good businesses will survive, maybe, and great businesses will evolve. Now, that doesn't mean that they're brand new businesses. It means existing businesses can become greater than they already are if they choose to find a way to evolve and stay relevant, right? And to do that, we need to create a business that does not yet exist. And I've shared this before in previous lives, but I just want to highlight this, and then I'm going to go into a whole bunch of meaty stuff. But I just want to set the scene for the moment. So for those of you watching live on Instagram, sorry, I don't get to see what's on the screen here. But we're talking about not only reimagining your strategy, but reimagining the way you think about strategy. So in organizational strategic thinking, if you keep your old strategy and your old way of thinking, basically you're just going to be burying your head in the sand and hoping that this too shall pass, as I've alluded to. You'll do what you've always done, get what you've always gotten, which is obviously the definition of insanity or madness when everything else around you is shifting or changing. So that is just a recipe for eventually going out of business, okay? Then you can actually go, hey, well, you know what? Let's just keep our old strategy, but let's tinker with it and come up with some new ideas and, sometimes disguised as innovation. And we can improve how we do things internally and see if we can, save some money here and there. And that's just a survival strategy. Then you can actually go and say, well, hang on, what if we just keep our old way of thinking in terms of there, but let's come up with a new strategy. How do we reach more people? How do we serve more? And this is where a lot of people are stuck right now in this growth mindset, which is doubling down on your existing revenue drivers, delivering more of what you do to more people. Let's just reach more people and serve more people, which is great. But once again, you're only growing your business, and you could be growing into obscurity or irrelevance. You could be growing out of business, as we like to say. So growth is good, but it's not great because it can. How many businesses have we seen at least that have grown out of business? So what we challenge people on is to not only come up with a new strategy, but a new way of thinking about their business. So it's fundamentally challenging what's possible for your business, right? And how we serve our customers and reshaping our offerings and focusing on why we exist, which takes me back to the very thing I said earlier, which is purpose creates opportunity, right? Why you do what you do won't change. How and what you do can and will always change. Now, whether you do that by design or by default and circumstance, or you are forced and thrust into doing so, that is up to you. What we need to be able to do is to anticipate the future, okay? Anticipate the future of our own business through anticipating the future needs of our clients, right? And anticipation is the ability to foresee growing problems, disruptions, customer needs, and new opportunities, which once again, purpose creates opportunities. right? So we need to be able to make sure that our organization is always in anticipating mode. We're anticipating whatever might come next, anticipating what our clients might need, right? So anticipation is something that's really important as a mindset to have in businesses of the future. Because one of the other things that I came up with many, many years ago is that if we don't start anticipating the future needs of our clients, the one thing we can anticipate is not having future clients. Please understand that. If you do not start anticipating the future needs of your clients, the one thing you can anticipate is not having future clients. Right? You need to be thinking, we're always thinking about our customers' customers. Right? So when I'm talking with our clients, I'm trying to understand, and you may have seen this sometimes, I'm asking about their customers and their clients and what's happening. And because I'm trying to work at, I wonder what's happening in their clients' businesses. And so if we can work at that, the ripple effect of that back to us, we know how better to stay relevant in the hearts and minds of people we choose by helping them stay relevant in the minds of the people that they choose to serve. Okay, so it's so important for you in business to be able to think like this in today's world, because you're never going to change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, you must build a new model that makes the old model obsolete. Now, every business has a business model. My question to you is, has your business model expired and you just don't know it yet? Because there's so many examples out there of businesses that have had their business model, like, hey, get this really great business model. It's here's how we make money and do the stuff we do, which is great. And they just, once they double down on that and go forward with all that without realizing that everything else is shifting and changing around them, or without thinking that there's somebody outside of their business thinking about how would I put that business model out of business? Because your business model has a shelf life. Our business model has a shelf life. Every business has a business model. Every business model has a shelf life. Has yours expired and you just don't know it yet? Because then when you get to that stage, you go, holy crap, yes, you ever pull the old milk out of the fridge and go, oh, that expired like 4 weeks ago, and you take the lid off and you, whoa. So is your business stale milk? Right? Because people won't start drinking your stale milk anymore.
If it's 4 weeks old, I'm not even taking that lid off, man. That's going straight into the bin. Like when you find a protein shaker that's been under the seat of your car for 3 weeks, that goes straight to the bin. Don't even wash it.
That's fair. Right. So we need to create a new model that makes the old model obsolete. Now, there's been so many examples of this in the world, and I won't get into too many of them, but the obvious ones. So, if you look at Uber as a new model that was challenging or making the old model of public transport obsolete. Now, here's the funny thing when you think about Uber, and I know everyone talks about Uber and that, and the taxi companies and all this sort of stuff, but the one thing that I look at that, the way I look at the lens I look at it through is more the opposite. What if the taxi companies, Lisa, actually just created the app? Would Uber even exist today?
Maybe not, but who really knows? Because they didn't.
Yeah, who really knows? But like, if you look at what the problem that Uber solved for people that taxi companies weren't, was just why I don't know where my taxi is or when it's going to get here, who's picking me up. I had to keep calling the taxi company. Oh, it's on its way. And if they that was, the fact that we have cheaper pricing and all that sort of stuff, that's been a roll-on effect. But we weren't really complaining about the pricing of a taxi. We were complaining about the fact we did not know where it was, when it would be here, and then it wouldn't show up. And so if they had just created the app, perhaps Uber may not even have existed today. So by them, the people in the industry not doing something, they allowed somebody outside the industry to do something that impacted their industry and then impacted their businesses. Right? This is why so much disruption is happening on the outside of your business, because you're not the one leading the disruption from inside your business out. Okay, being aware of disruption is amazing. All right, like that's great. Well, yeah, we can see the disruption happening in our world around us, and we can see it in our industry. But then, are we sitting there having to go, "Oh crap, we better do something about it"? Why don't you actually go, "Hey, let's look at our industry and how we could disrupt it, and start by disrupting our own business first, which will then disrupt our industry, which will then lead the disruption." Why can you not lead the disruption in your own industry? We were talking about this yesterday in our team thing. We believe that we're leading or the disruption in our industry in terms of business coaching, leadership coaching, you name it, all accountability coaching, because everybody's so focused on growth, and we are the only ones pushing the evolution agenda. Because if you do not evolve and stay relevant, you can grow out of business. That all the gurus out there are telling you to grow your business, have a growth mindset, fast growth, all this sort of stuff, which is great. Be more, double down. No one's helping you understand how to become more and stay relevant.
Because
right?
you can grow all you want, but
Yeah.
if you're growing out of business, what's the point?
Yeah, and like if you have a strategy to grow a business, that's cool. Like I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying, but if you want to stay relevant and you want to be around for the next 10 years in business, and the world's changing all around you, and the rate of change outside your business is happening faster than it is on the inside of your business, the end is near. And so if you're not steadily and progressively increasing your capabilities and your capacity for greatness, you're going to go out of business. It's that simple. So talking about going out of business, here's the thing. One of the things we challenge people on is to create epic questions, right? What are some of the, like, develop a list of epic questions you could ask your organization. An example of an epic question would be, how can we give more value to our clients without charging them anymore and making more on the bottom line? And you're going, hang on a second, so we want to give more, not charge more, and make more. Yeah. How are we going to do that? I don't know. But epic questions lead to epic thinking, which will lead to epic answers and epic results. But if you don't start asking the epic questions of your business, you're never going to find the epic thinking, and therefore you're never going to have the epic results that you're looking for, because you won't take any epic action. And that will then lead you to a stage where you are pretty much going to go out of business. So here's an epic question that we like to ask clients. And at our Business Evolution Summit that's going to be happening on the Gold Coast on August 24th to 26th, day 2 is going to be all about this. Right? This is day 2 at our Business Evolution Summit. It's going to be asking you this question. How would you put yourself out of business? When was the last time you asked yourself how to put yourself out of business? Now, we did this when we were on the road the other day. We were talking to one of our clients, and I said, look, if we're going to look at the window, we were in Kew in Melbourne, and financial planning services, and it was really amazing. They're really wonderful human beings who care deeply about the people that they serve. And I said, okay, we're all here in this boardroom. If we looked out the window and said, we're all going to move, all of us here, the 5 of us, the 5 of them plus us 2, we're going to go across the road, and we're going to set up a new business over there, financial planning services business of the future there, and look back at you guys here and say, what would we need to build over there that would actually either take significant market share away from you or possibly put you out of business? Right? And we would sit there and go, well, what would that firm have? Not what would we have to do to fail miserably for that to happen. What would they need to do that would significantly take our market share and possibly put us out of business? And it was very confronting for them to be able to start to think like that at first. It's like, because it's a challenging thing. It's like, well, you put us out of business. Because here's the kicker for this epic question when you ask yourself that. I guarantee you somebody else is already asking that question. Somebody else is already thinking about how to put you out of business. Not you personally, but your business, your industry, or whatever. Because remember, somebody outside the industry is already trying to find a way to disrupt your industry. Because very few people in the industry are finding a way to do it by starting to disrupt themselves. But if you want to evolve and stay relevant, this is the question you need to ask yourself. And this is what day 2 at the summit is going to be all about, is us grilling business leaders for many hours, and each of them working together to brainstorm ideas about how to put each other out of business. So you come up with these amazing ideas. Because when, people say, you want me to put myself out of business? Yes. Yeah. Because when you put yourself out of business, you're only putting your old way of doing business out of business. When someone else puts you out of business, you're out of business. All right. So this is when we talk about reimagining a business that does, or imagining a business that does not yet exist. The reason you must imagine a business that does not yet exist is because somebody else is. And if you don't, then you will go out of business or have significant market share, or business will become harder and longer and all the other things that are happening in the world today, because you were the one who chose not to do that. So when all the other gurus are telling you to not work in your business, but you should work on your business, what we're saying at the Business Evolution Summit is you should work out of your business. We actually reach in, pull you out of your business, and get you to take a look back at your business and say, let's put that business out of business. We're going to rip you right out of your business, and everyone else is in the room is going to rip you out of business, and we're all going to find ways to put each other out of business. And then we're going to have that epic information, and then go into day 3 and pull it all together, and then start to imagine the business that does not yet exist, that will keep us evolving and staying relevant in the hearts and minds of the people that we choose to serve.
And there's a few pieces to that out of business concept as well, Dave. like we talk about being the disruptors in this. That's what we get to do, and we're so grateful and passionate and on fire about it. But the out of business piece, this can only happen when you're out of your business. How many times you sit there and go, oh, yeah, I'm going to schedule that. Oh, yep, I'll do that. Oh, yep, I'll do that. But when you're in your business or on your business, there's little spot fires and things that will call your attention every single time. Sometimes you've got to get yourself literally, physically out of your business in order to be able to get that bird's eye view out of your goldfish bowl so it doesn't keep pulling you back in so that you can do this work. Guys, you must do this work. And it was something that when I ran businesses, when we were doing high-level strategic stuff that was going to evolve us further, we didn't do it in the business. We drove an hour, get away, not interested, because we need to be out of our business in order to do the work we must do to know what we've got to do to put ourselves out of business. It's super key.
Yeah, 100%. And that's such a valid point. Look, we're talking like mentally out of your business, but also physically out of your business. Like get out. All right. So the kicker to all this is, and this is a question like I ask people is, are you waiting for a new business to come along and rub your nose into a future that you were destined to own? Was like Blockbuster had their nose rubbed in a future that they were destined to own. They should have been the one to own that. They didn't. Right? And they had the chance to buy the company that actually that eventually put them out of business. Right? Their inability to innovate at speed, because they weren't progressively and steadily increasing their capabilities and capacity for greatness. They were just resting on the money machine when the trucks backed up every day to come into their business and drop the cash off. But those trucks stopped coming all of a sudden, very quickly. So please, are you going to wait for this to happen? Or are you going to be the one who rubs other people's noses in a future they were destined to own? And it's not like a dog eat dog. I'm all for fair competition. Don't get me wrong. Lisa, we work with any worthy rivals who are doing great work in the world because we have a vision so big that we can't accomplish it alone.
No.
So we're all for competition, everything like that. But the problem is that most of the competition that you're looking at aren't the ones who are going to disrupt your business. Airbnb was not started by anyone in the hotel or hospitality industry. Uber was not started by anybody in transportation. Netflix was not started by anybody already in entertainment. You look at all those sorts of things, it's just pissed off consumers are your new competitors.
Yep. Oh, that's right? Good.
Pissed off consumers are your new competitors.
New clarism there, Davo.
It's actually a very old one. I haven't used very often. So there's a whole change in the future of work as well as the future of leadership. So not only do we need to, imagine a business that does not yet exist, we also have to understand it in the context of, the workforce and what people's expectations are in business today. People are looking for new organizational models. They want coaches, not bosses. They want greater employee experiences. We need to find ways to leverage new technology that brings people together. So if your existing business model and your existing leadership structure of your organization doesn't cater to these things, that internally can implode your business as well. So there's the external pressures of all the consumers and demands and the changes that are happening outside of us, but then inside as well, there's all this need that human beings have that are starting to realize, the great resignation is probably just a great realignment of people are going, I'm tired of all this stuff. From your post yesterday, throwing all the paper in the air going like, I've had it, I'm out. All right. And it's not that they don't want to work anymore. They don't want to work like this anymore. Okay, please understand, it's not that people do not want to work anymore, it's they don't want to work like this anymore. I'm tired of working like this.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have all this external pressure in our organization, like on our organization. We have people out there thinking about ways to solve the needs of our clients that we're not. And remember, purpose should be giving us opportunities because purpose should be the problem we're passionate about solving for other people. So we should be constantly going, hang on, is this the best how and what to do for the why we do what we do? And then we have internally, we're going, hey, how do we bring people in who want to be a part of that, who can speak that love to the market and create an amazing place for them and coach them to be their best and use technology that brings them together and turns them into superheroes. So we need to make sure that we're doing these things right now. Now is the time. If you're not thinking about them now, you're not too late. You should have been thinking about this yesterday. The best time to plan a trade was yesterday. Next best time is today. We need to be doing this stuff. This is why we're running this Business Evolution Summit on the Gold Coast at the end of August, because we've realized that with the work we're doing with our clients in the world, so we're not doing it at the scale that we need to be able to serve more people, because we see too many people unnecessarily either working longer and harder than they ever have, or going out of business unnecessarily. There's no need for it. We want to make sure that you do not go out of business. We want to make sure that you can actually have your cake and eat it too. That you can be fit, strong, and healthy for a lifetime and still have cake for breakfast.
You know it.
Right? Like, but think of that from a physical health point of view, but also from a business point of view. There's no reason why you can't have an amazing, epic business and care deeply and passionately about the people who you work with in your organization, and care deeply and passionately about the people you serve, and still have a hell of a good lifestyle. There's nothing wrong with it.
Because there's nothing more heartbreaking. I don't know about you, Dave, but I feel like I can speak on behalf of both of us here. There's nothing more heartbreaking than seeing good people doing good business in the world.
Yeah.
And solving problems for people, but their old way of doing business is now obsolete, and they're not able to show up and stay relevant with the people that they want to serve. They're good people doing good work, and then they end up going out of business. That's a tragedy. That's bloody terrible. And then you have people who aren't necessarily as good people, that don't necessarily do business with integrity. They still keep showing up and doing the thing, because even though they might not be of pure heart, they can see the strategy, they can see the shift, and they're kind of getting out ahead of it. So, like, there's too many good people going out of good business, and I'm not about it, at all.
And so this is, when we look at the work that we want to do in this world, is we want to help eliminate that. There's no need, especially people doing good business. All of you are out doing shitty business and doing crap in the world.
Yeah, whatever. If you go out of business, COVID, if you're a crap business, sorry, I'm going to just call it as it is here. If you're a crap business and it's just that, we've been in good times and you're able to be in business, and like a little disruption like COVID put you out of business, good. You shouldn't be in business. If you're a crap business that wasn't built on integrity, and that we talk about shit values, that's just the price of entry into business. And so if there's people that just were moseying into business just because they can, and the season and the climate supported that, and then there was a disruption and there wasn't anything solid, there was no integrity, there was no truth or solid purpose on which your business was built, and you're now no longer in business, then maybe you shouldn't have been in business in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're if you have a model business which does good and then makes money, does even more good with that, and repeats that cycle, want to help you. If you're just in there instead of just making money and at any expense or any cost to people, well, we're not interested in that, right? Because we're working with people who have a real clear sense of purpose. So on the screen there is, like, we're talking about mission years. Who do we need to become? What's the business we need to build? What's the business we need to imagine that does not yet exist, that will put our old way of doing business out? But to get to that stage, you must do a few things first. Okay, is you got to understand why your business exists in the first place. What is the problem it's passionately here to solve? So day one at our summit actually is going to cover these things here, which is why does our business exist? And you may have the reason, but we're going to help crystallize it, tighten it up, and really make it very powerful and simplify the whole concept, so we can actually, in 66 words or less, answer these first four questions.
And that's the thing. Sorry, Dave, I know you're on a roll, but I just really want to speak to that. I think it's key. Dave just said before, you need to have a really solid reason why. Your purpose needs to be, and that's how solid business is going to happen. If you're seeing that and freaking out, going, oh, I don't have a really strong reason why, don't fret. That's why we're here. The great thing about you and your business is that there already is a purpose. There already is a why. But it's in there, but we just help you able to understand it, crystallize it, and clearly articulate it in a way that you and your people can get around. You already have purpose. If you care about it, you already have it. It's just about knowing it in a way that you can get around it that is really, really key. And that's what we help with. Don't freak out that you don't have purpose, because you do.
Yeah, and it's basically just helping you reveal it, or expose it or uncover it at a level where it's very crystal clear for people. But also what we do is we're going to show you how to use it to engage people in the workplace. All right, because purpose is there to engage people. So there's that. You must have that in place first. Then you have to have your values in place, which is the unique thinking of your business. And we're not going to go into much detail of this, but you got to have these things in place. And it should be the 4 to 6 core values of your business that makes you unique in the way you think about why you do what you do. because thanks to Simon Sinek, he's popularized people buy why you do what you do. But we at Circle Leadership will assure you that your values are why they buy it from you.
Yeah.
So you must get very clear on that, because if you want to look for what makes you different in the world out there, why people should choose to buy from you, your unique selling proposition or unique value proposition, well, it's actually your unique values proposition that people will buy from you. The reason why people choose to work with us is because we value simplification, that we insight and anticipation and caring and wisdom and all this stuff. That's what differentiates us in the marketplace, the way we think about why we do what we do. And then once you know why you do what you do and you know how you think about it uniquely, you can go, well, imagine if we got up every day, Lisa, to evolve leaders in their businesses to stay relevant through the lens of the, from a simple, caring, wisdom, insightful point of view. Can you imagine in the next 10 or 20 years, what the world would look like if we did that? Like our world, what would the impact be? And we go, wow, we could see a world where every business is thriving on purpose. Like, wouldn't that be amazing? Then all we have to do is go, well, hang on, the business we have today, is that going to help us create that? Or do we need to imagine a business that does not yet exist that will help us to start create that world or bring that world into reality? And that's where your mission comes in. And that's all this one's been about, is actually day 2 is all about looking at who do we need to become? So we're going to brainstorm all in day 2 so that when we get to day 3, we're going to be able to map out everything for the organization in terms of what must be accomplished and how you're going to measure it.
I'm so keen. I don't think this has ever been done before, honestly.
No, it's never been done before.
No, and I'm so keen, so pumped about it. It's so powerful.
Right. Now, I'm conscious of time, as I always am, that we always go a little bit over time, which is fine. So mission then is, who does our organization need to become to start creating the world that we see? So you're going to imagine a world that does not yet exist, and then you're going to need to create a business that does not yet exist to start creating that world. Like, this is when I talk about the uncertainty. This is where the opportunity lies in uncertainty. Because when you start to realize the impact of you getting up every day to live your purpose through the lens of your values, to have the impact you're going to have on your world, whatever that world is, you go, wow, that's the impact we see. That because if we get up and do this every day, that's the difference we're going to make in the world. Well, then what business would we need to build that would create that to happen? And that business will be the one that will put you out of business. Because other people are out there looking for a way to create that same world and create a business. And that business is the one that's going to put you out of business. So either you create it or somebody else will, I assure you. So if you don't want to imagine a business that does not yet exist, that's fine. Somebody else is going to. And wherever your business was in the past to where it is today, it's not the same business that it was 3, 4, 5 years ago. And the business that you have today will not be the same as the one that you're going to have in the next 3, 4, 5 years. Because business is a series of evolutions. What's the next evolution of your business? Right? What's the business that you need to imagine to put yourself out of business? Right? So a couple of things I want to touch on, because here's a couple of concepts. We'll finish up with these things. There's a thing called the paradox of success, and that is whatever got you to here won't get you to there. And we hold on to what made us successful. Oh, but these are the things that got me here, and these things that made us successful and stuff. The beliefs that we have about our business and who we serve and how we do and why we, why and what we do. So the one thing you keep still is your why we do what we do. That shouldn't change if you have it right. But then the how and what, because of that, will go, hang on, is this still the best way to do it? Is this still the best way to deliver it? Is this still the best people to serve in this space? All these things can be shifting all around you, right? So the paradox of success says whatever got you here won't get you to there. The peoples, the policies, the procedures, the processes, the products, the services, the offerings, everything that made you successful to here is great, but it's not necessarily what will make you successful to there. And this also, like as I did mention too, is the people. So you may not have the people in your team that you need to get you to where you need to go. And it doesn't make the people that you have bad or bad humans. They just might not be able to be part of where you're going in the future, or might not be the best ones. I think Mark Randolph talked about this in his book, That'll Never Work, from Netflix, right? And he said that the hardest part was letting go of the first 8 people who started Netflix, because they weren't the people who are going to take the organization to where it needed to be. But the great realignment that's going on, or the war for talent that's going on, this is creating opportunities for people because they're looking for people who want to be somewhere. So instead of looking at it as a negative, we can actually be recruiting people out and finding their places where they're really passionate about and places they want to be. How can we help people find what it is they want to be and find the people who want to be a part of what we're doing and move it forward? Paradox of success. The next thing is you have to also understand the difference between affect and effect. You have a choice to affect change or be affected by change. And when somebody else is out there creating a new disruption for your business, you're at the mercy of the effect of change. Or you can choose to affect the change and be the one who leads it. So do you want to be the one who's having to respond or react? Or do you want to be the one leading it, forcing everyone else to respond and react? Because once again, somebody is going to do it. Why not you? Somebody is going to do it. In businesses everywhere, I don't care what your business is, even the taxi company thought they were regulated by government, that someone else came along and created a new model that made their model obsolete. Okay, it's going to happen. So there are people out there continually coming up with ways to think about put you out of business. When are you going to start being the one to do the thinking? When are you going to be the one that's going to do that, to disrupt your own business, to disrupt your industry, to make the impact you want to have on the world? You need to start to imagine a business that does not yet exist. When are you going to start thinking about that? It's like, I can't stress that anymore, because if you don't start thinking about it, be prepared for the fact that, and don't be upset when somebody else does, right? Don't be upset when somebody else does. So if you're interested, and your business, question we've been asked about, is your business under threat? And they're like, oh, no. It's like people said to me, I've got a lot of Canadian friends who talk about Australia, and they said, oh, you've seen all those big spiders and, the snakes and all that. I said, the snakes and spiders you can see aren't the ones you need to worry about. It's the ones you can't see. Right? And they're like, what? I said, yeah, it's the spider that you can't see. It's the snake that you can't see that you have to worry about. So when you say, is your business under threat, you might not see it, because you're looking at all your competitors. You're not looking outside of your industry or outside your business. And we've already talked about the fact that most disruption is happening from outside. Pissed off consumers who are going, hey, there must be a better way to do this type of business. So let's do that and find a way to put them out of business. So is your business under threat? Yes. Can you see who's threatening it? No. So if you want to find a way to evolve and stay relevant, August 24th, 26th, if you want to just put hashtag BES 2022, and you want more information and just a no obligation, no expectation, just a call with myself and or Lisa about the event or your own business, whether it's for the event or not anyway, just let us know and we'll have a free chat with you, no obligation, because we care. We want to make sure that we can at least open your mind. We always sell 3 things, right, Lisa? The 3 things, here's your sales pitch, because you're worried, oh, this is going to be a sales pitch at the event. Well, I'll tell you the sales pitch right now. Here's your sales pitch, okay? And I want to do this very personally. So I'm going to knock you out for a second. Here's our sales pitch to you. There's 3 things we want you to buy. Number 1, you need to do this. This is not, maybe we should, maybe we shouldn't. You must do this. That's the first thing we want you to buy. Number 2 is that there's tools and resources available to you for you to use to do this. If you want anything we have, we'll give it to you. All right? No problems at all. And number 3, the third thing we want you to buy is if you do need help with it, to implement it, to execute on it, to craft it, to crystallize it, whatever it is you need to do, there's people out there who can help you. Okay? So it's really important to understand that we want you to, that you must do this, that there's tools and resources available to you, and there's people who are willing to help you if you need it.
We talk about the work that Dave must do. This is the work that every business owner must do.
100%. Like if you're a business owner, leader of a business today, and you don't make time to do this, you are accepting the fact that we're just going to keep going until something comes along and knocks us out. And then hopefully maybe we might be able to react or respond to it in time. But while things are good, let's keep going.
And it goes to what you say, Dave, around would you rather control your business? Would you rather, I've just absolutely royally munted it.
Yeah. I think you might be thinking about iPhones and Samsungs. Would you
maybe I was thinking about iPhones. Oh man, speaking of going in or out of business, I need a new phone. If anyone can hook me up, that'd be amazing. But no, seriously though, would you rather control your business, be controlled by your business, or stay relevant by getting out ahead of it by design and by design, rather than having to, react by default and circumstance? Would you rather define it and design it? Or would you rather just be hanging, waiting to see what default circumstance might come and brick you to the side of the head? proverbially, maybe literally, maybe both. Not a fun time. And even if not, like it's an old mentor of mine, Kerry McAvoy, said it's like pooing in your own pool. Like by not doing this work, it's almost like you're pooing in your own pool, and that might go over there, and that's fine or whatever. One day you'll be swimming along, and you got to have a big breath right now, and then suddenly, oh, that work that we didn't do, that stuff that we know we should have done, but we've been living in sweet denial, it's about to come back in vengeance. Let's not be that guy.
Yeah, no, 100%. So thank you all for tuning in to today's live. It's a little bit different than what we've normally done. And I know we've been promoting an event in this, but please, this is just a collective where the best way for us to serve as many people as we can is to put on this type of event for it to happen. So, day one's all about culture and strategy and crystallizing and clarifying all those things in your business in a simple way so you don't have a word salad, and then you can articulate all those things beautifully in 66 words or less, and also know how to use them in your business every day as your leadership tools. Because leadership is your tool, is your trade or your craft, and you need to know how to use your tools and be sharp with them. And then day two is all about throwing it all the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle up in the air and being challenged and questioned by peers and by us and everyone else, and just having all this creativity thrown at your business and innovation or ideas so you can go, oh, wow, what could we do? A really massive, open and innovative brainstorming session, heart-storming session, so that day three, we can go, let's find corners, the edges, and then start filling the picture back in on how we're going to, or what we're going to do to build this organization as we move forward. And so it's going to be an epic 3 days. We would love to have you there. If you want to find out more information, #BES2022, and we will actually reach out to you, and no obligation, just free call. And if we have some tools, we'll give them to you. Like I said, you need to do this. There's tools and resources. We'll send you all the tools anyway if you want them. Yeah, you can have them. And if you want help doing it all, then we can talk about what that looks like. Yeah. But please, you must imagine a business that does not yet exist, and you must be the one to start to build it, because somebody else is going to. If not you, then who? If not now, then when? It's always been that way. Yeah. And in a crazy ass world that we live in, it's going to happen a lot faster than it used to in the past. So thank you. I know we're well into the 40, almost coming to 45 minutes. To those of you who joined us on Instagram, thank you so much. Those of you who joined us on all the other platforms that we're streaming to through this, thank you so much. If you have any questions about anything we presented, please ask. We will respond in the comments. We have such tremendous love and care for all of you in business, the great work that you're doing, the people that you employ, and the livelihoods that you're supporting. And we're here to support you to support that.
The people looking after the people.
Yeah, and we're here to help you guys with that. Yeah. So thank you. Hopefully we'll see you, speak to you all whenever you want to speak to us. And if those of you who do want to come along, we'll see you at the event. Until next Thursday, if not me, then we. Yeah, fair call, Big Al. Nothing but love for you, brother. Thanks for tuning in as always. We'll see you guys next Thursday. Actually, we might even do another live on next Tuesday. I think I'm interviewing the amazing brand alchemist herself. Tiana is going to come on and be grilled by me. So this will be very interesting, exciting live, probably on Tuesday. I think that one's going to be happening. So look out for that as well. And then Lisa and I will be back live again on Thursday. So Thanks, everyone. Take care. Have a great day. Start thinking about how to put yourself out of business.